COVID-19 created a year of uncertainty, fear, and change, leading to many, including a growing number of women, being lured into various fringe groups such as QAnon. That's according to investigators who study these groups. Tonight, a college junior tells the I-Team how it happened to her.
I just did feel very vulnerable at that moment, and it was an eye-opener because I never thought I would ever be a Q follower in any way. And even this, I wasn't necessarily following them, but I was intrigued by their beliefs, and I think that that's kind of how people don't always realize that they're following Q.
Isolation and excessive screen time during the past year created opportunities for QAnon and other extremist groups to lure in more people, according to educators.
QAnon really went after a wide variety of people. They did something very clever. What they did last summer is they basically hijacked a Save the Children movement in order to attract people who might otherwise not be drawn in.
I think that definitely played a role. I think if I wasn't on my phone constantly, I wouldn't have seen stuff like that.
QAnon promotes groundless theories that former President Donald Trump is fighting a Satan-worshiping network of cannibalistic pedophiles that includes Democratic politicians and Hollywood actors. After the 2020 election, the Justice Department says many QAnon followers pushed false claims of massive voter fraud and said the election had been stolen from President Trump.
Anything that kind of catches your eye.
This Boston University junior says her interest in the movement was triggered on the app TikTok.
I think it was the aesthetic of the videos themselves. They were beautifully done.
She says the Save the Children slogan and claims of high-profile politicians trafficking children upset her. At the time, she didn't know those accusations were false.
It was playing on my emotions.
This FBI bulletin says some rioters at the Capitol on January 6th were wearing Q clothing and chanting slogans associated with the movement. This Department of Justice list of those arrested includes at least 35 women. Court documents show many of these women are members of movements such as QAnon or Proud Boys. Cynthia Miller-Idris is director of the Polarization and Extremism Research and Innovation Lab at American University.
There were a lot more women there than you usually see at violent events like this, including women who were clearly in leadership roles, who are live streaming or helping coordinate the attacks. And then we see images of women right in the chambers, clearly participating in the violence. And that is a change. And I think part of it is that there are a lot more women involved in QAnon, and QAnon was well represented.
The Biden administration is exploring a new domestic terrorism law to address homegrown violent extremism.
We have to be thinking about what it means to have women be radicalized into these movements and potentially what risk that poses to communities.
2 women who died during the January 6th attack were supporters of QAnon, according to family and the FBI. One was trampled in the crowd. The other was shot and killed by a U.S. Capitol police officer after breaching the building. Phoebe says she is embarrassed about her short-lived interest in QAnon and thanks her grandmother for making her question herself. She has this warning to others who find themselves lured into believing extreme ideas online.
Check your sources and check to see where their sources are from, and not to believe everything you see on the internet.
Phoebe is one of 6 female students from Boston University's Countering Online Hate class last semester who said they had fallen under the spell of QAnon for at least a few days.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.